9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, my fellow free and low-solving thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3-Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful realms of planet Earth. Today's date is Monday, October 20th, 2025. This is episode 1910. Who buried Kirk's murder investigation? Roku gets sued and war of words. Before I proceed, you can find me on multiple social media sites and podcast channels. Just type in Look Your Luck number 3, Look Your Luck Roman number 3 with 3 eyes, or the Look Like Roman number 3 podcast. In addition, if you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. Hit me via email to ll3.podcast@proton.me. If you want to donate, go to paypal.me or cash.app/Look number 3. If you want to follow me, give me a little crypto love on Steemit. I'm there at LL number 3-podcast. Oh my goodness. What else is new, right? Hopefully everyone's out there being safe, vigilant, and preparing the best they can. Everyone's talking about the whole economic collapse. How come everything's going sky high? Hey, remember Weimar Republic 2.0? Just another example that happens when you got private central banking system and fiat currency. You know who loves it? Who loves it? Karl Marx. Yeah, so all you Marxian hacks out there, I love the Federal Reserve. Bend over and smile. It makes me courageous. Well, I'm going to be just roaming around as usual here. So without any further ado, I'm going to be narrating an article from Paul Craig Roberts, Institute for Political Economy, IPE, paulcraigroberts.org. This one's entitled, Who Buried the Investigation of Charlie Kirk? As it reads here, it's been 1 month and 10 days since Charlie Kirk's assassination, and we still know nothing factual about it. The information or disinformation that has come out is nonsensical. Andrew Colvett, a spokesman for Turning Point USA and executive producer of the Charlie Kirk show, said the doctor who examined Kirk told him there was no exit wound. Yet we are told that the bullet was fired from a .30-06 rifle used by the suspect Tyler Robinson. This is an impossibility. A .30-06 would have left little of Kirk's neck or head. It is ammunition used for grizzly bear and moose. There is no evidence that any media or FBI questioned the attending doctor concerning his report of no exit wound, as report by Colvett. An internet search reports that no bullet has been found. A suggestion is off that perhaps it has been recovered, but the news is being withheld, possibly due to ongoing forensic processing or investigative sensitivity. After 40 days, they're still examining a bullet. The only possible thing that could be sensitive about the bullet, if they have it, is it not .30-06 caliber. The bullet that blew the back of President Kennedy's skull and managed to continue its magical path and cause 3 more wounds was allegedly found intact on the floor of President Kennedy's limousine. It was a less powerful caliber than the alleged .30-06 used to murder Kirk. The explanation handed to us dumb shit insouciant Americans is that Kirk was so strong that the bullet fragmented and does not exist. So what evidence do they have on which to try to suspect Tyler Robinson? Theories of a fragmented bullet from a likely planted rifle with no evidence that a bullet that killed Kirk was ever fired from the rifle. Anyone can put an empty case in a receiver or a rifle or fire into the air or ground and not eject the case. Others reports said the doctor attending to Kirk said he found the bullet under Kirk's neck skin. This cannot be correct if the bullet was a powerful 30-06. As far as available information goes, no one in the media or FBI has asked the doctor for the bullet or even inquired if he found it. You okay, baby? Have my dog here, so sorry about that, folks. Among these astonishing investigatory failures, no one, not the FBI, not the media, has tracked down and questioned the clearly indicated man in brown whose moments and behavior suggest he might have been the murderer and who, according to an available video, assuming it is not an AI creation, supervised the loading of Kirk's body into a private vehicle and departed with it. The media customarily dismisses any departure from the official narrative as a conspiracy theory and ignores it. Therefore, those who intend to deceive us have a free hand. Kash Patel, on whom so many Americans rested their hopes for a return of a truthful and honest FBI, owes us explanations. In my opinion, he is only a pawn, folks. I'll continue on here. He needs to tell us whether they have the bullet, and if not, why not? He needs to tell us if there's an exit wound, and if not, why not? He needs to tell us who the man in brown is and whether he has been questioned and whether the video evidence of him directing Kirk's body into a private vehicle and driving off with is valid. He needs to tell us how Tyler Robinson hid the murder weapon in the nearby woods when he jumped down from the roof with no rifle in his possession. Many have concluded that the man in brown was an Israeli agent who killed Kirk because Kirk had begun leading the rising American generation to question rather than to worship Israel. The absence of a professional investigation and objective reporting of Kirk's assassination supports the belief that the Trump regime is covering up Israel's murder of Charlie Kirk. Well, I'll say this. Can they be a suspect, Mossad? Absolutely. However, you have to back up everything as concrete. And even the ones that one claims to shoot me, I've done it, shoot me. Who's that Yahoo's name? They say he was an operative. I forgot the gentleman's name. Put him as an accessory. And anyone else that's involved, including Tyler Robertson, if there is enough evidence as this. If he's a lone gunman, then he'd be another patsy, a scapegoat, such as Lee Harvey Oswald. And what's the other gentleman's name? James Earl Ray? Is it James Earl Ray? Yeah, James Earl Ray. And John Hinckley Jr., a few others. So I'm not buying the official narrative, too. I questioned this for a long time. Even in the very beginning, I told everybody, my early shows, if you got the suspect, Tyler Robinson, you better back it up with no exceptions. That's the name of the game. We cannot fall for the Lizzie Borden effect. If you study history of the Lizzie Borden case, everyone believed, like I said before, they all believed she was guilty. Then the jury was just the opposite. They'll always question everything, my friends. I'm not buying it, and I'm not being anti-Semitic as well. So don't even go there. It's just you'd be like pissing in the wind. Okay, so that's how I look at it. It's just so many people are questioning, especially Candace Owens. She's like someone says she's used a blowtorch, and I've been examining her content, and she's spot on. Can you blame her for not going to the funeral? Absolutely, because there's so many things are happening, and gen fencing and all that is just insane. You know, like everyone being tracked, database, all that stuff. So I do find this very unexceptional. So hey, we got someone there. Hello, thank you for coming in. Well, I'm gonna do the second one here. It came from reclaimthenet.org. Good site, folks. Check it out. Florida attorney sues Roku over failure to implement age verification privacy concerns. Florida's lawsuit spotlights a paradox where efforts to shield children online could end up erasing privacy for everyone. Who wrote this? Kim Macon. Florida Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against Roku, drawing attention to the growing privacy risk tied to smart devices that quietly track user behavior. The case brought by Attorney General James Altemeyer under the Florida Digital Bill of Rights accuses the streaming company of collecting and selling the personal data of children without consent while refusing to take reasonable steps to determine which users are minor. We obtained a copy of the lawsuit for you here. You can look it up. Don't worry, I'll leave all the footnotes when I publish this episode, so it's okay, folks. The lawsuit portrays Roku as a company that profits from extensive data collection inside homes, including data from children. According to the complainant, Roku collected, sold, and enabled re-identification of sensitive personal data, including viewing habits, voice recordings, and other information from children without authorization or meaningful notice to Florida families. It continues, Roku knows that some of its users are children, but has consciously decided not to implement industry standard user profiles to identify which of its users are children. Another passage states Roku buries its head in the sand so that it can continue processing and selling children's valuable personal and sensitive data. The growing push for digital ID-based age verification is being framed as a way to protect children online, but privacy advocates warn it would do the opposite. These systems require users to provide their age before accessing certain services, often by uploading identification documents, facial scans, or linking accounts to government databases. That process creates a new trial of sensitive data that can be stored, shared, or breached. Instead of limiting data exposure, digital ID verification adds another layer of surveillance, turning routine activities like browsing or streaming into transactions that reveal who users and what they do. Once age verification becomes normalized, anonymity online and at home could disappear. Every interaction, from watching the show to reading news or joining the discussion, could be logged and tied to a verified identity. This approach undermines privacy and free expression by discouraging people from exploring lawful but sensitive content or speaking freely without fear of being tracked. The filing also claims Roku should reasonably have been aroused to question whether a consumer was a child and thereafter failed to perform reasonable age verification. It adds that Roku processes the sensitive data of known children under the age of 13 without performing any age verification and without any affirmative authorization or consent. In announcing the action, Altemeyer said, Florida families deserve to know what is happening with their children's personal information. Parents, not technology companies, direct upbringing of their children. We will hold any company that conceals or exploits that information accountable. Roku reaches about 145 million viewers in the United States through its smart TVs and streaming devices, giving it immense access to household data. Well. And I do see things as a double-edged sword, with all due respect. And even look at the whole privacy issue as well. Under Article 1, Section 23 of the Florida Constitution, government should not encroach on people's privacy. So I do see things on both ends. And the truth of the matter is, to the parents out there, I'm not going to tell them what to do, but always question yourself, should I give my child a Roku account? That's how you solve it. So, or not just have some bogus pen names. Trust me, you'd be surprised what you can do. But I'm not really too keen of these things. This verification stuff. It should be a parental control, and the parents, in my view, we all have duties. Not just have a TV or Roku as your babysitter. That's absurd, obscene. Watch things together, and you can talk and you can lecture them on your input. And I know single family, parents and all that's a real discouraging thing too. But as far as I'm concerned, toss the damn TV out the window. Kill your television is just one big sham. One big idiot box. Any questions? Great song by Nuclear Assault called Brainwash. You can look it up online. There's a video on it. And even though thrashy and metal related, it has a great message. I play it for a lot of people too. So that's just my input on it. Like I said, to make it into a babysitter. Just a tool, not a babysitter. Okay, well, I'm doing one more here. I know I'm just rushing through this. This one came from antiwar.com blog. Words are the first weapon of war. The bad folks must be given a name, and when they are, the name explodes in significance. Kaboom! Anyone assigned that name is instantly dehumanized. Robert C. Kohler came out today. As it reads, I sit here at my desk looking out the window and see someone walking through the parking lot. This is the most ordinary of moments. I shrug quietly. Life goes on. My impulse is to stop writing the column here. That's it. Nothing more to say. Life is totally fine and civilized, and I'm here in the middle of it. Growing old, but giving no thoughts whatsoever to the darkness that lurks at humanity's margin. Sure, news covers that stuff, but what do I care? Things are fine where I live. But the darkness tugs. I read the news. I know that hell consumes parts of the planet, and certain lives have no safety, no value whatsoever. Here's a recent New York Times headline as ordinary as the fact that someone was walking through the parking lot outside my window. U.S. military kills another 6 people in 5th Caribbean strike, Trump says. Well, so what? They were transporting drugs. The military has now killed 27 people as if they were enemy soldiers in a war zone and not criminal suspects. Minor news, right? But consider the complexity of the context that emerges from these words. The story is critical of President Trump for bombing boats and claiming without evidence that they were transporting drugs meant to be sold to Americans. But there's a quiet assumption here. By making the point that this was not a war zone, the story quietly leaves the assumption hanging that if it were a war zone and the boat has been officially declare Americans enemies, well, that will be a different matter. Barbary Pirates, look that up, folks. That came out in 1801, if I'm correct. War itself is unchallenged and accepted, certainly by the mainstream media, whatever is left of it, and also by the collective American and perhaps global norm. And here's the problem. War is a 50-50 deal. There's a good side and a bad side. And if you're on the good side, the war you wage is just. That means you have the moral leeway to kill whomever you want. Excuse me, this includes children. But permission to kill is psychologically, indeed spiritually, complex. It requires a further step, one that let us off the hook from our own inner moral sensibility. We're all humans. We are deeply alike. We are one. The way around this emotion difficulty is simple. Dehumanize the enemy. It happens virtually automatically as soon as a particular group is declared the enemy, i.e. them, but it requires logistic assistance. The bad folks must be given a name, and when they are, the name explodes in significance. Kaboom! Now it's a weapon. Anyone assigned that name is instantly dehumanized. Language is the initial weapon of war, and it is the indispensable tool of those who wage it. Indeed, dehumanization exists almost as though it's part of who we are. I believe with all my heart that it is not part of the human DNA, but sure seems to act like it is. To dehumanize a group of people who are different from us simplifies life enormously. Even if we don't go to war with them, we free ourselves from having to try to understand them. We can just dismiss them. Welcome to racism. Welcome to ethnicity. Welcome to borders, both political and religious. Welcome to us versus them, the whole and the human heart. In my lifetime here in the U.S., in the wake of World War II, the primary way to dehumanize someone at home as well as abroad was to declare them a communist. The term had instant power. Every leftist was a commie. They were taking over Hollywood, not to mention Washington. They were under our beds because of the existence of nuclear weapons. America's power that be wisely avoided going to war with the Soviet Union or China. But we nonetheless have the wherewithal to create the military industrial complex here at home and engage in proxy wars, killing a few million people, and intensify our long-term unacknowledged war on planet Earth itself. Another dehumanization term that emerged from those wars as collateral damage, a unique form of dehumanization. Those who were collateral damage were not necessarily our enemies, just people in the vicinity of just war we were waging. They were merely in the way. But the term did its job. It took the humanity away from anyone. Our bombs unintentionally eliminated and turned them into scrap metal at a junkyard. After the Soviet Union collapsed, however, now what? The communists were done with, but we are still needed an enemy. Governing is so much harder without one. And the terrorists are primo enemy of the last couple of decades, and a word with enormous potency. For instance, anyone who criticizes Israel for killing 70,000 Palestinians, or far more than that, is both pro-terrorist and anti-Semitic. The flotilla trying to bring food to Gaza is a terrorist operation. And then, closer to home, we have the illegals, aliens, wetbacks, who are not just fleeing poverty and crossing the border into the USA, but invading. Looks like we got another war on our hands, folks. I'm not worried about the guy I saw walking through the parking lot a little while ago, but if he was looked like an invader, hey, ICE. I know some of the diehard folks out there may get a little bit leery on us. Who's this leftist goofball, right? Well, you gotta look at everything a lot bigger than what it is. The question's always been Keo Bono, who benefits, right? Look what happened on September 11, 2001. Close to 3,000 innocent people died. The war on terror. Let's go after those Pakis. Get out those Middle Eastern folks. Let's go after the Muslims. And you know what? We'll give up our freedom for security in this day and age. Always said the war on terror has always been against its people. It's self-explanatory. And we always got to be aware of media manipulation. How accurate is the input, the content? We can't just go, when they say jump, we'll go how high, or say bend over, we go how far, please. It's completely ludicrous. We got to always learn the lessons that even happened with the folks in Nazi Germany, Soviet Union, Rwanda, etc. They use media manipulation to blame a certain group, regardless of their race, color, or creed, or tribe. They went after them. Nothing new, right? We always got to be vigilant, folks. And don't get me wrong, even with the folks with ICE is doing, I might have my different, they're always going to have our pros and cons, okay? But one thing I know for sure, if they're going to go with the brown people, I remember I read an article a while back on the Epoch Times, one officer who was a police officer in Illinois was illegal in from a country called Montegaro? Yeah, it's in Southwest Europe. White guy, right? So, got to give them all, okay, in good faith. But one thing we got to look at is observe responsibly, pay attention, and let's stop being an empire, for God's sakes. Let's start being a constitutional republic. And all these little bobbleheads, too, from the other governmental hacks that are Trump, are anti-Trump, they're a problem as well. Don't fall for their rhetoric or hyperbole. They don't give a damn about you. They only use you as a bunch of pawns. This is not just here in the United States, but around the world. So please, folks, observe responsibly, stay vigilant, don't live in fear, and please prepare yourselves at the best of your ability. Because I can tell you one thing, this USAID, not USAID, but food stamp program, right? Was it USNAP? Your food stamp program, if the government shutdown comes keeps going until November 1st, All Saints Day. Yeah, a lot of people going to be going on a rapid rampage, okay? Because there's too much dependence. Don't be like them. Always observe responsibly, okay? So, all you got to say, who benefits? Who benefits? Be vigilant. Prepare yourselves as best you can. Never trust the government. And almost, I can tell you this, every war is a bankster war, okay? All hail to the Rothschilds. I'll take a dump and flush it. Well, that's all I got to say about this. That is it. I thank everyone for listening, but feel free to download and share this throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, and all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. Hit me via email to ll3.podcast at proton.me. When I publish this episode, all the footnotes will be there. You can read it for yourselves. If you want to donate, go to PayPal at me or cash at /low-3. If you want to send me a little crypto love, follow me on Steemit. I'm there at LL3-Podcast. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.